one of us or every one of you out there, wherever you are joining the broadcast from.
Okay.
Welcome to the Talking Point. It is good to be back, and we are here to do the Labyrinth People job.
Yes, are you sure we are here this evening to actually do the people business because this is what we sign up to. So every evening, Mondays to Friday, we have to assemble here to do your due diligence by serving you and dinner support and everything while you sit in the comfort of your home. And so
Yeah.
actually there are too many into on the talking.
That means, normally we say in Liberia, the news don't it don't go away. Every day there is something new for us to talk about.
Indeed.
So yesterday, you may be aware, the Liberia National Bar Association, they came up with their state those issues that they place in their ruling
Exactly.
against the majority bloc of the House. So, especially after the particular statement yesterday,
After the press release.
yeah, after a press statement, the entire
Yes.
that
Misreaction.
yeah, misreaction.
And in fact, people were referring to the president of the Bar Association as partisan.
Yeah, as partisan.
Yes. Though they look at that and letter him.
Yeah, the thing that is Saros, he contested. It's true that he contested 2017.
Yes, on the
Right
United
on the United Party ticket.
Okay.
But he's still associated with the United Party,
Or whether he had denounced.
or he had denounced his membership with them.
Okay.
We are here to verify that.
All right.
But when such statement comes, or definitely people that the statement did not favor, to find something and to dig out.
Is that coming to something? Is there a criteria a partisan cannot be president of the Bar Association?
No, I don't think it is. The thing there is, I think you should just be a member of the bar,
Okay.
right? Probably dues and do all of them, but I do not think it's mandatory that you cannot be a member of any political party.
Okay.
But again, this is Liberia for us, so these things have to come up.
Okay.
Yeah. So today, the president, he also issued Executive Order 149. Yes, I'm trying to lay my hands on that executive order. Yeah, where there's a order talking about a mandatory national identification card.
149, yes. Okay.
Yes, mandatory national identification card for all citizens, foreign nationals into the country. So I think first it was only restricted to citizens. Yeah, but now it is going across for both citizen and foreign national.
Okay.
So for me, I think it is something good because it will help the country. It will help to know everyone in this country to have their biometric. Because if possible, somebody might come in this country and do something that they are not to do.
Okay.
So yeah, so I think that is also good for the country. Now, the issue with the House continues, Saras. The issue with the House continues. We've been seeing lots of, someone say, political transfer.
Yeah,
transfer will not open.
Right? I mean, from the release of the president saying that he's going to work with Quorum.
Yeah,
everybody been looking for Quorum. And so the transfer window all people cross carpeting.
Absolutely.
Is that people cross carpeting, or they just crossing one area? Because normally when they are crossing over and stuff, people come from Seoul and go to the next thing. People come from the other thing to the next thing.
Yes.
But in this scenario, we are not seeing that.
No, but
the transfer window just open one side.
Of course, but we heard DJ Blue.
Okay.
Right, DJ Blue talking about, he said when session starts in May, definitely he will join Fonati because Fonati is the legitimate speaker.
Okay.
So maybe based on that, we can say cross.
So I hope DJ Blue or the Bernard Blue of District 17
Yeah.
is now finding himself in the procedure Copo situation. Because Madam Copo have been, jumping from this point to this point since the saga started.
Yes.
At a certain point in time, she said, "Oh, I didn't understand it the way. I thought it was the way." Then she come.
Yeah.
After some time, then she go
She
back.
go back.
So I hope DJ Blue now finding himself in that capacity as well. Because man, he was with the minority bloc, the COFA team.
Yeah.
Later he crossed over to the majority bloc.
Yeah.
So he going back now. It's going to be the second time for him.
Yeah.
So probably he and Procedure Copo need to be very careful how they do this. And, yes, on a serious note.
Yes, so yeah, it happened. So one of those things that came out yesterday against Saros, the issue has to do with the University of Liberia suspending, that's dismissing 8 persons. Yes. Yeah, 8 persons for academic fraud, especially involving the Inspector General of Commerce, yes. Doug Cooper. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a good decision from the University of Liberia, where dismissing those people, according to them, that were involved into the process.
It was a good decision.
Oh yeah, family have to cry, but
8 family heads were sent home.
Of course,
2 others were suspended.
Yeah, but if you don't want for your family to cry, tell your boss man or the family head not to do the wrong thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
That's the thing.
So, yes, that's the best thing to do.
Yeah,
especially in public settings.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And Saras, looking at the crime, it is very, very much heinous.
Okay.
Because imagine someone who did not pass through the criteria, you're giving that person a degree. The person do not understand the entire process. The person enter the wider society. Mm-hmm. Definitely, that person is possible it might cause serious harm to the entire public. Mm-hmm. Imagine maybe a nurse. The nurse did not pass through the process. Then a nurse go in the hospital. They do not have the understanding how maybe to get injections.
Of that nursing department. Or the career, but it's the perfection.
Absolutely.
Don't have the understanding.
Maybe down you just see that person killing people for nothing. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. And I think the issue of academic crime have been common. We have been the information about what happening at especially University of Liberia and other universities across the country. Okay. So I think it is a good thing if our institutions will start to take these kind of stringent measures against people that are involved. But now, sir, we are looking up to the president, although we are getting information, it's unconfirmed that a person has dismissed the Inspector General, Doug Cooper. Mm-hmm. But we are hoping to see if it is true or not. If he does that, I think it will be the best thing for the president, because to have an academic criminal in your government, I don't think it is a good thing for the government.
Okay, but for me, I think this is belated. For the president actually to come and dismiss or suspend, because the issue does not just start today or yesterday. It's been around the corridor for a while now. In fact, the university itself, before this president can come with the dismissal, revoke the degree given to Doug Cooper.
Sure.
And since they revoked that degree, Doug Cooper have been in that capacity for more than 4 to 5 months. So I don't know from what perspective the president is now coming to dismiss the same man, because the same degree in question is no longer in the main credential anymore. He said he earned a degree at the university. No, you not get it from us. If I will revoke it, that one you get out, there are people now are hanging to your heart. You now come from the university. And the man still carrying that degree in his credential as the Inspector General of the Republic of Liberia. That degree is being used in his, credential. It's actually wrong, and I think the president should have taken action ever since. But again, people can say, the president has his own time to act, and whatsoever, whether it takes 4 or 5 months or 4 or 5 years, the matter of fact, he must act. But again, sometimes in taking more time to act, there could be, as you said, for example, in the nursing department, people will take care of health. There could be damages caused before you can come and act. And before you do that, there are families that already cry and they are lost their life, or something bad happened to those families. Some people, because of ignorance, will go through sicknesses that they're not supposed to go through. So when these things happen and investigations are done, it's glaring fact. They forget about politics and deal with the issue, no matter the individual involved. Because once you start to do that, I think you will be setting a precedent.
Sure.
And the society will be getting on the right path. That when the president or the people who involved can set precedent on their partisans, on their friends, on their loved one, then people who are far away from the president or the executive would start to take cue and say, you know what? If the person who is close to the president can feel that kind of pinch, I think I need to be very careful in the capacity that I'm in.
Yeah.
But again, this is Liberia for us, and no matter what it is, we need to actually continue to do what we can do because Liberia is the country we got, and the only thing we can do for ourselves is to talk the talk while the Liberian people decide.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
So, Sarah, I'm also getting information that the governor of Liberia is saying anyone that will be occupying illegal area, maybe on the street, right,
Okay.
on the road, and when they are trying to build the road, definitely will not pay you. That's the
When you
information
talk
I'm trying to
about
get.
illegal, what is it? Is it that people are building? They are building close to the road, or
Yeah.
what?
People can normally go. They'll look at the road. There's some community will enter. They say, "Government not ready for the road yet,"
Okay.
right?
So that means they are situated within the alley.
On the alley. So when government ready to build that particular road, the government is saying they will not pay you a dime.
So I mean, you can the alley belongs to the government of Liberia.
Absolutely.
So the government cannot buy that spot from you.
But usually
That's why
it can
usually
be.
when people go to court on land dispute and other thing, and when they land dispute, whatsoever on the land, they say the land can swallow it.
Yeah.
In the common Liberian term.
Yeah.
So once the land belongs to you, somebody went there and acquired something there illegally or place anything there, what I call 10 million, 50 million. Once you have the proper document for that property and the court declare you as a winner, definitely you know that property belongs to you. It left with you to decide what to do with it.
Yeah.
There where you know you can see people coming for negotiation, people crying, other things.
Yeah.
But as you are saying, it's just common. Most especially close to the main road where the people can plant the pool.
Yeah.
People should not be coming, beyond the level pool. But again, because the spaces are open and they say, oh, that government not ready. Maybe that the next generation people come and build, places and at the end result, they expect government to
pay them off.
to pay them off.
Yeah.
And in some cases too, the Ministry of Public Works need to actually be proactive because sometimes the people building this structure in the alley, for example, in the prohibited area, and they will come and mark the place. You can see most often when you move in, they will say, oh, they put the X.
The X, yeah.
Then they put MP.
Sure.
Ministry of Public Works. After some time, you see the people coming back carrying out building all the structure off.
Yeah.
And at the end result, the people stay there for some time. Then public work, the single public work come by and say, oh, you in the alley, you're supposed to be here.
Yeah.
And by read public work, but that is not really effective. But the Ministry of Public Works need to be giving people lessons. Give you lessons to build certain area.
Absolutely, yeah.
So once you obtain that lesson from the Ministry of Public Works, there are some instances that I know that some people now pushing the government that say, you know what, you can't break my house. You can't do this because I obtained lesson from the Ministry of Public Works. And they told me that this place is not a road. Now that you coming to claim that this place is a road, meaning you got to give me all of the money, the value of my property, and also pay for the land. One instance we watched was the instance with the Grace Bank.
Yeah.
Former Superintendent Maserado.
Absolutely, yeah.
When her chest was broken down for the Carwell Bridge and other stuff, you saw that she took the government to court and said, you know what? The government have to pay for my property and also pay me the value of the land. Because that land, at the time I acquired it, the road was not extended to that place. So if government want to do that, you have to do. So it is a two-way street.
Yeah.
The government need to do more, and the citizens themselves need to be conscious of some of these things. Stop saying, oh, you know, that Liberia thing, when government will get ready, we'll block the alley. And you can allow other people to get access. Once you do that, at the end result, after 10, 5 years, 50 years, when the government ready, I mean, you will cry. Your family will cry.
Yeah, even those people who look at government, people aside the road, they look at government property, say government property, go build.
Mm-hmm.
So the government also referring to them as well.
Okay.
When you build on our property, just we will definitely not give you a dime because the land belongs to government. It does not belong to you. So definitely you cannot build it and you expect also come ready for it. They can't pay you for it. No.
So like on your own, though.
Yeah, so on your own.
Anyways, yeah. So thank you for that update, and I think there are too many things happening.
Yeah, lots of things we can
We
go
can
across.
test everything because when we do that, normally we can be crying. We can get in time to all this and that. So we want to get in enough time to talk.
So to our people on the live, just help us to share the live video, please. We want for other people to join the broadcast, to join this discussion. So just help us to share at least to 10 groups. At least 10 groups. It'll be okay for us. We'll really appreciate that.
Yeah, so the dog copper issue, as you are saying, are taking a national stage. But one of the major things that I want us to look at, and we'll be looking into this evening, is the release from the
EPS.
the Executive Protection Service.
Yeah,
this thing is very. So I actually would like to read out the press statement,
sure, let's do
press
that.
release, and then we can do some analysis around it and allow people to make some contribution. Before I do that, let me read. Maybe before I do that, let me just get a tip from the former vice president.
Sure, do
and
that.
the standard bearer of the MPP. I don't know whether she's still the standard bearer.
According to George Maba,
Yeah.
she's not the standard bearer.
Okay. Okay, so let's get that tip.
Yeah, because I think where that press really comes from.
Yes, indeed.
It's taken by every elected official. Sets the basis for the work that you are supposed to do for your constituency, for your county, or for the nation. Where we are now, I never expected that we'll get to this point. That the number one citizen in the republic who vowed to respect all laws has decided to play politics with a constitutional mandate. The truth is, this constitution we either do chaos or we do calm, where our country is able to move forward, where the hopes and aspirations of our people will be met, where the dignity that carries the name Liberia across the nations of the world will no longer be looked at as a pariah. This is the choice we have today. And that carries the name Liberia, where the hopes and aspirations of our people will be met, or we do calm, there is a very clear difference here. Either as a nation we agree to follow us for chaos. We either do chaos or we do calm, where our country is able to move forward.
Okay, so there you have it. I think this is the background, or this is what the EPS actually was responding to. And so let me read what the National Protection Service of Liberia, that is EPS. Say EPS to withdraw protection from individuals advocating for political insurrection. The Executive Protection Services EPS wishes to inform the public and that it will withdraw security protection from any VIP and protectees who publicly advocates for insurrection, rebellion, or violence protests against the government of Liberia. And the attention of the EPA has been drawn into a recent public statements made by certain officials which amount to cause for quarrels and violence, disruption of public order. Such utterances are deeply concerning and inconsistent with the laws of Liberia. As mandated by law, the EPS is responsible for the protection of the president, the vice president, and their immediate families, visiting foreign dignitaries, and other senior officials of government are directed by the president. This mandate is rooted in the duty to ensure safety and stability of the Liberian state. A protectees who actively engage in or incites violence or rebellion against the government fortunes forfeits the privilege of EPS protection, as such conduct directly contradicts the EPS constitutional and operational responsibilities. The EPS remain committed to providing professional, impartial, and robust protection to all its designated protectees. However, it cannot and will not be used as instrument to undermine the peace, security, and constitutional order of the Republic of Liberia. That was a strong, strong message. And if you listen to this read out, it also cited some key point that I grabbed.
Okay.
They say their responsibility constitutionally is just to protect the president, the vice president, and their families. And by right, the president can direct them who to protect. By right, it's supposed to protect the president, vice president, and their family, and other government officials. That's what it said in this readout.
Okay.
So they are not forced or under any constitutional mandate to protect past government official, unless the president of the Republic of Liberia see it necessary that the former government officials need EPA protection, then they can be directed to do so. So they are saying that, in fact, they did not need the individual, but from this message clearly, you can see that they were responding directly to the statement being made by the former Vice President Joel Howard Taylor. And what they were saying is that they are very clear that you cannot enjoy, once you enjoy VIP protection and you want to undermine the peace and stability of this country, the government will withdraw all of the EPS from behind you, and just know that you're going to forfeit the enjoyment of VIP protection from the EPS. So that was a clear message to the former vice president and other past immediate government officials who are enjoying VIP protection and also making these public statements. According to the EPS, they are trying to insult people, they are trying to cause restoration, and they're trying to rebel against the government. But again, from another angle, is that people are arguing that the EPS now is using it as intimidation to pass or opposition democracy, and you cannot silence the freedom of speech. Even though these people are past government officials, they have VIP protection, but there should not be a condition to silence their voice. You cannot use EPA protection to silence the voices of critical people who will want to speak the national issue that affects majority of the people. And these people are leaders. They have people that are following them that believe in them. If they remain silent and see the wrong thing happening and they cannot speak, they are dashing the hope and aspiration of these people who believe in them and follow them. So, Conan, this is the slippery and slope we found ourselves in. The Liberian people are trying to react to what the
where the
former vice
hopes
president
and
said.
aspirations of our people will be met.
Mm-hmm.
Where the
Can you
dignity
explain?
that carries the name Liberia across the nations of the world will no longer be looked at as a pariah. This is the truth.
So yeah, Conan, coming.
Yeah, so Saras, let me say thank you. I got few things from the EPS statement.
Mm-hmm.
One of those things they're talking about those who trying to cause chaos, and another issue has to do with protest. I want to be very very exact to get those points listed.
Mm-hmm.
They say the attention of the EPA has been drawn to the recent public statement made by certain officials to cause chaos and violent disruption of public order. Such utterance. So I want to get the exact area. Yes. Okay, the executive protection said, which is to inform the public that it will withdraw security protection from any VIP protectee who publicly advocate for insurrection, rebellion, or violent protest against the government of Liberia. So these are points that they raised, that they listed.
Okay.
That anyone who trying to raise those issues, definitely they are going to withdraw the EPA protection from you. Now, Saras, like you said, I have not laid my hand on the act that created the Executive Protection Service. I've not laid my hands on it
Mm-hmm.
to know if this service is only meant for the president, the vice president, and their family.
But they stated in a release.
They stated it though.
Yes.
But probably other people might want to question it to know if to say, oh, probably it is true only the president and the vice president as well as their family, only or not. So that's why I'm saying we cannot verify if that part of this particular statement is true or not. Now, the next issue that they talk about here has to do with those people, those things that when people get involved into, they will definitely withdraw the EPS protection. Now, when it comes to the issue of chaos, I do not think anyone in this country will support chaos or will want to support chaos.
Okay.
Therefore, I agree with the EPA boss, right, or the EPS. Anyone that want to support chaos, that will be supporting chaos in this country, then the protection must be taken away from them. So they themselves will be vulnerable as the chaos come. On the other hand, what is the EPS calling chaos? We have to know. Mind you, when I talk about chaos, they just say chaos. What are they referring to as chaos? These are things that we should look at. Is it when someone talk about we will protest? Is that what he calling chaos? Because mind you, Saros, politicians, our politicians in this country, when they are out of government, protest, they consider protest to be their right. It is their constitutional right. But as soon they get in government, protest becomes a taboo that they do not want to hear. That as soon as someone talk about protest, definitely they say, oh, the person can be shut down the country. The country will go back. But mind you, when they are outside of government, when they are in opposition, they support protest fully. I've observed our politicians, and that's what they do. We saw a few years ago when CDC were in opposition before coming to power. They protested in this country under Mansalif regime. When they got in power, when they hear opposition talking about protests, they say, oh, war will coming. Opposition trying to bring war, trying to shut down the country. No. Today, United Party is in power. When people talk about protests, they are right now they are taking it to be like when you talk about protests, that means chaos is coming. That means the country is going to be shut down. And that's why I do not want for the government to consider someone talking about protests to be a shutdown of the government or to be a chaos. Protesting and chaos are two different things. It's possible people can decide to say, oh, they want to protest, peaceful protest. For that, I can tell anyone, I support peaceful protest every day and every time. I support that. But any protest that will call for in restoration, like the particular release said, that's what I will not support. That's why I will frown at that. So if the EPS have the particular have proof that people in this country that hierarchies of the former government who are enjoying EPS protection today, if they are trying to bring chaos into this country, I support them fully, Saras. Let them withdraw the EPS support from them. Let them, if they are trying to bring chaos, but if it is just their constitutional right and they are bringing out the particular release, then it means that they are trying to intimidate the opposition, which of course is not good for our democratic scene in this country. Because mind you, the opposition do have its roles to play in our democracy. They have to play. For the EPS to just decide to say, oh, we will try to mute the opposition, we'll try to silence them by threatening to withdraw EPS from the if they call about protest, if they talk about their constitutional right, I think that would be wrong. But if it comes to the chaos that I talk about, then before they do that, they will have to tell those people what constitutes chaos. We want to know. There are lots of questions need to be answered by the EPS. What constitutes chaos? Now, the issue that they talk about violent protests, that's so fully because there should be no violent protests. So if opposition leaders are talking about violent protests, then definitely they should withdraw. But from the statement here played on this radio that we listen to the former vice president, I do not think she talked about violent protests. She made mention, yes, of course. But we as a country we should prioritize peace over chaos. And she talked about if people violate the laws, definitely they are trying to support chaos into the country. And I do not think anyone out there will to disagree with her. That hey, if you violating the law, that means you are not supporting chaos. No. In a country that violates its laws, definitely you trying to support chaos. And we saw yesterday, these are things that brought this the war in this country, where people were violating. People kept talking until came into this country. So I've not seen the action from the opposition that will show that oh yes they are supporting chaos in this country. I've not seen it. So again, the EPS need to tell Labradorian people what constitutes chaos. Just for you to say, oh, we will protest, or if you violate the law, definitely trying to support chaos. Is that person calling for chaos? These are questions, Sarah. We want the EPS boss need to tell us and let us understand what do they mean by chaos in this country and what constitutes chaos.
Yeah, so did they attend this point, but if you listen, let me just say this. The vice president was very clear and he gave the Liberian option. She gave the Liberian option, asking that they need to decide. They either choose the rule of law or they choose the other way around. Let's see what I can lay here on that.
Yeah, that do that for our people.
Yes.
Difference here. Either as a nation we agree to follow a path of chaos, because once you do not go by the rule of law, then you are calling for chaos. To follow a path of chaos, the difference there is a very clear difference here. Either as a nation we agree to follow a path of chaos, because once you do not go by the rule of law,
So I think the EPA was actually responding to, and second paragraph they also mentioned about recent, they talk about certain government official made a statement in recent time and it amounted to, chaos and violent eruption. And there where they were actually pointing to they are saying, there are some public officials who are making some statement that has the propensity to cause violence in the country. And if they will continue to do that, that means the EPS will draw their support or protection service from behind them. But the most important, I think, Liberia, we need to, as I say, this issue is being looked at from two perspectives.
Yeah.
Some that anyone who support chaos or anyone who support violence in our country should not be protected.
Which of what I agree.
The EPS.
Yeah.
And the second one is the political aspects. And from the inception of this government, they were appointing internal analysts to the information ministry, and they said there are ways politician or former government official could be treated. For example, if you see like Barack Obama, for example, in the US, who have left the political scene, even though he has some political interest when election coming around, his party, affiliation, party alignment, and will want to support the party candidate, or he would have been active in politics, will not be compared to a Kamala Harris or somebody who will want to contest in the next election.
Yeah.
And the way you're going to see the government being lenient with that former leader will not be like somebody who is also want to do a comeback. For example, we have two former presidents alive and still in Liberia today, excluding Charles Taylor. And I give it to him because if they do so, it will give him the privilege and the leverage to do a comeback in the next election.
Yeah,
So
I agree with that. I agree with
the
that.
analysis I'm making.
Yeah, I agree
So
with that.
in most instances, we even saw that during the CDC Regina, the former vice president, who is the president
The
today,
president now, yeah.
were being treated some kind of way and other things. He were making some public statement and they said, if you want to be treated a former president, you need to behave the former vice president. So government after government will always have fear for their opponents.
Yeah.
And once you are the opponent, there are some level, there are some things that they will not call you to, or they will not give you that leverage because they see that as a promotion for you. So, talking about this statement from the former vice president, the ruling party or the ruling government will not want to sit and see this kind of statement coming out. For me, I saw this statement and I think it was very hard from the former vice president. Probably the intent was not to make any violence in the country or to, get the intention of disrupting anything. But probably she spoke out of anger about some of the things that were going on in country. And because the way it going on, so she was presenting a plan to the Liberian people that what? You either decide that we choose the rule of law or we choose
Chaos.
Now, in that, the Liberian people have a government. They are already given a mandate to the government, and the government have rules and order in the country. And when the Liberian people are disenchanted, they run either to the court for rescue. And when the court ruled, the executive and the judiciary are supposed to work together to enforce the court ruling. Now that the court ruled, the perspective from which she was speaking, the court ruled, and the person who's supposed to enforce the ruling for they hear him and say, I will work with quorum. So the former vice president was vexed. Now she made a statement. Now, if you call the Liberian people to say, let's choose rule of law now, how are they going to choose the rule of law? Out of two ways. You either come outside in a sophisticated democracy, come outside, don't rest day and there, with placard being peaceful and force the government to abide by the court ruling. And when you do that, a listening government listening. You either choose not to come outside with placard, but to take a political route that happened in the past by going in the bushes and gaining up against the government for doing the wrong thing. So once you start to do that, then it become problem for the country. So for the government, they see the statement, especially from the angle of the EPF boss, that she was trying because she's a politician though. She had a large following. That woman was 2-time senator.
Yeah.
And in fact, she been lucky. All of the elections she contested,
Yeah.
she won all. She contested 2 different times in Bon County.
That 2020 she lost, yeah.
Yes, excluding 2023.
Yeah.
Yes. So she contested 4 different elections in this country, and she lost 1.
Yeah.
She won 3. So she's a winner.
Yeah.
She been enjoying some government money too. She came from first daily level.
She know what it takes.
Yes. So when a statement come, so these people are all politicians and they are behaving the politician. So for me, I saw the statement like, Madam Vice President, you a permanent person, you have a large following, and sometimes you might not mean some of the things you say, but the follower will take your word out of context. And when they do something tomorrow, people come back and say, oh, yes, because the woman said it, because the person said it. So this is what happening. You saw like what happened on the 18th of December 2024 of the burning of the Capitol.
Yeah.
People went back hunting Sarfoko in August for a statement he made out of Anchor with the same speaker he's supporting today, and say when you try anything here, we bring the plate down. After the plate got bring the link in, they say, the same man, he made a statement. But they know yesterday that statement was against the speaker. Today the man supporting the speaker. They say, the man made that statement, so he's a person of interest, investigation. People started going for him back and forth. So sometimes you will make your statement, will say some things. You don't have the intention of saying that. But if you say it, and as a leader, people who on the other side, your follower, might not understand 100% what you mean, and at the end result is something happen on the contrary, then definitely people come back to you. So as a public servant, you need to be careful on what you say and how you say them, so that your message will not be misinterpreted. That's how I feel.
Yes, Sarah, I agree with you fully. But I want us to also get something from that particular statement.
Okay.
When she talked about as a country, let us choose chaos over the rule of law, right? She also make mention talking about if you disobey the law, that means you are trying to support chaos. So another person might think that that particular message was going to the government. She was telling the government we need to choose 2 things: chaos over the rule of law. Telling the government that, hey, if you continue to violate laws, it will cause chaos. Almost like an admonishment for the government. Another person may think that way. Because man, you should make that clarity. Say, if the government continue to violate the laws, definitely it has the propensity of causing chaos in this country. So, yeah, it's what you said. Any message you send out, it is possible you might not have that intent of sending bad message, but your followers may understand it different and they go do something else. But again, we also need to understand it from another angle. Was that message going to who? The Liberian people or the government? These are questions we need to be asking. Because she said, as a country, she did not say Liberian people or the government, but she said, as a country, we should choose chaos over the rule of law, before making that clarity that if the government continue to violate, it has the propensity of causing chaos. So someone might think that it was an admonishment to the government. But again, like I said earlier, anyone in this country that will cause for chaos, if they are executive, let it take the EPS from them. I support that fully. But again, we need to know what is the government considering as a chaos. We need to know, because we do not want a scene where a government will try to come down hard on the right of citizen, whether the person is a former government official or ordinary person. We do not want to see. Because Cyrus, we know our African leaders. They have many ways of coming down on citizens, whether politicians, ordinary people. They have many ways. Sometimes these kind of statements, some might not mean or might not mean the evil, right? They might not mean the bad for the country, but some government in on this continent use it and come down on the people. So we do not want a scene where in the country we will see politicians, political prisoners, where people start going to jail because of statement they made for their own right. That's the kind of echo I'm putting here. We do not want for these things to happen. What we want is, if indeed someone is pushing for chaos, definitely let that person EPA be taken away from them. But firstly, we want to know what constitutes chaos. We have to know these things. What kind of statement will a person make that will say, oh yes, this person is pushing for chaos in the country? We want to know that. We do not just want a statement where when someone make them government say, oh yeah, you're trying to push for chaos, we take away EPA, trying to intimidate. We do not want those things. Because we've been hearing since the Supreme Court ruling, there are some opposition leaders have been talking about we will protest. Other people, officials of government or government supported individuals are frowning at protests, which of course some of us here, I will not say on this platform and say I support protest. But again, it is the right of people and they have the right to gather, to petition the government if they choose to. The only thing it should be done in the confines of the law, not violent, not outside of the law. That's all we go for. But if the former vice president makes a statement where the government feels that it's not a good thing for this country, it's not a good statement for the country. Listen, I do not think that the government and the former president they call a speech. I do not think that they call a speech. Cyrus, in recent time, I read about Ghana. We saw the current president going to visit the former president. We saw that. But that's something we are yet to see. The current president to go visit the former president, or to see the current vice president going to visit the former vice president, or to call them. You can come to my office. Let's meet. Let's discuss Liberia. These things are not happening. So sometimes I wonder, our leader, do they call a speech? So if the vice president made such a statement, I think, for instance, she's a VIP, which of course is unarguable. So as a government, do you not think you reach out to her? Do you not think you need to reach out to her? Ask her, what do you
short. The former vice president, current vice president, president, and former president will not be at the same place at this point in time, just for one reason. They are competitor. Most besides, if you listen to the chief of staff in the office of the former vice president,
former president, yeah,
say right after the election, after the congratulatory message to the president,
yeah,
they both president have not been speaking. That is the former president and the current president.
The current president.
They have not been talking to one another, maybe via telephone call
or face to face.
No, face to face. They've been meeting. I think they met in
Prince Johnson
Nimai. Another thing, yeah. They do the meet and greet just for public record. But they have not been having some personal discussion,
which of course I believe it's not good for us as a country. Listen, Sarah, right? the truth is, for instance, when these people can just come together, Saros, maybe one day we just see the former president and the current president, they sitting together having dinner. My brother,
So Conan, I am not opposing they're
Yeah.
coming together, but I'm telling you the possibility for which you will not most often.
which is bad.
They want to elevate some relationship, cordial relationship will be like, collaborating, which they don't want. So from they will do all what they can do.
Me, I don't
to
see it as
plan food,
collaborating though.
to plan food, because it will be a collaboration in this stream. If the relationship is very cordial and you see the both people talking on some national issue, you will not see the opposition. Like, for example, the president being fast, the former president being fast to speak to some national issue. There are some national issue that he might want to discuss with the president before coming to the public. And once that starts to happen, it will weaken the opposition in a way that, like for example, the Supreme Court ruling came, and then the president and the former president, the president say, "My man, this is my stand. You know, the thing here you were yet to my say I yet." That means that relationship already there is. They already had that speaking relationship, that visitation you're talking about. He said, "My man, I just need, I want a whole speakership, for example. Let my man go there. You were here too, you had it in your man professional had it for 6 years. I want my man to have it." They put for them talk in the back. The way you see the thing being pushed right now, brother, they're putting the common library English. It will not be like that.
But I think that it will be the best for the country.
Because
Saros.
the two leader, all the rule of law we're discussing right now, the two leader of compromising that thing.
Saros,
Because they compromise
I think it will be the best.
Whether they step on for nothing, they finish. You will not get a force he getting from the CDC and the opposition right now. So at the end result, this is what the opposition leader and the ruling party does not want. Because if the opposition do that, being negotiating in the back, we saw that during the Manasere regime. Now you see the CDC or President Weah can come to speak to national issue when it happen. It was not like that during the CDC and the United Party or no Manasere regime. For the last term, there were always times where you saw the Koji and other people organizing protests. In certain point in time, they've been called by the standard bearer to put hold to those protests because of the same cordial relationship you're talking about and the negotiation in the back.
But Saros,
some accused that he was receiving money, which I can't validate, but I know for sure that the relationship was there and there was some level of talking in the back.
Saros, let me bring this analogy, right? What will be best for the country, for our leaders, opposition and re-establishment, to put hand on deck, put idea together and build the country, then to put their political position first, stay apart, and the country remain divided. What will be best for the country?
So the only thing I see is that somebody's interest will be met in that case, and the opposition community will be a rubber-stamped opposition.
I do not think so, Saros.
If the relationship really exists, that friendship, my brother, exists between the opposition and the ruling party, you will have a rubber-stamped opposition, and the people that will suffer. You ask a question.
Yeah.
The people that will suffer is the same Liberian people. That means the Liberian people will be left with the mercy of their government. Either the government decide to do the right thing, and when they do the right thing, the people will benefit, or they decide to do the bad thing. And when they do the bad thing, the same people will suffer and they will get nobody to speak for them. And in this case, the only person who can hold the government feet to fire in breaking the rule or law or doing the right thing for the people is always the opposition.
So if what you are saying, then that means our politicians are not trusted. They are not worth to lead this country. Because that means they are not trusted. It is possible you can collaborate. For instance, you collaborate with someone, you help them in doing the right thing. But when the person err, you come up and tell the person their error. It is possible. For instance, if the opposition, if former president we are, right, this current administration, if they can walk out of former president we are, what's the idea for us to move this country forward? And former president, we are helping them, giving his own idea. If the government do the wrong thing, are you trying to tell me, former president, we will not be able to come out to the public and say the government needs to do this, they are blundering this part, he will be compromised? Then he does not worth to lead this country. Or if, for instance, the current administration, if they will be in opposition and the people that are being opposition, if they're working with them and that particular government goes wrong, the current president, if he's in opposition, he will not be able to come out to call them up, then that means he's not worth to as well to lead. So it is what I'm trying to say. It is possible you work with someone, but when the person do the wrong thing, you tell the person this is wrong. You criticize the person. Opposition doesn't mean that you against the person progress. It doesn't mean that you don't want for the person to achieve good for the country. Opposition means that you are in opposition looking at those errors from the person, but you also want for the person to succeed. You also want for a person to succeed. So I think if these people work together, it will be a good for the country. But again, like you said, this is Liberia, this is Africa. Our politicians, the only thing they want, their personal gain. So if it costs for them to sit down for the country to win, just for them to win election, it will happen. When it costs for the country to collapse, they will say, "Oh yeah, the government made the country to collapse." So just for them to win election, they will do it. This is Africa. This is Liberia, but it is wrong. Patriotism is whether you are in opposition, you are in government, you work together. It has been happening in other countries. Sometimes we look at the Western world. Why you think those Western countries they move forward from one government to another government, they continue to progress because the opposition, the ruling establishment, when it comes to key decision making, they ask for the opposition their view. The opposition give their view. They give their suggestion, and sometimes they work with it. And that's how it should be. Opposition don't mean that you hate the country or you hate the president. No.
So maybe give you one example. That thing you're talking about, you might call the opposition on table. I follow the Madam Ellen Johnson regime. I didn't see her one day calling. Probably were in the corner, but I didn't see her.
Right.
And I think it was possible that she called President Weah, George Manning Weah, who are the number one opposition to her,
Yeah.
to the table for idea.
But probably maybe it will be in the scene.
That's what I'm saying.
But so you just talking about Joey are
That's
not
what
real
I'm-
critical, right? Probably it will happen behind the
That's
scene.
what I'm saying.
But again,
As
before you
such,
come in,
yeah.
let me just bring some before you come in, Sarah, right? You also saw in how much as Joey was silent, but most of the CDC were tough on Man Salif. They were tough, but when they reached into a certain level, they were saying, "No, my man, calm down, right? Yeah, calm down." But they were tough. So I think that's how it should be. For me, that's just how I think it should be. Continue with the way you're saying.
So I sat there 6 years.
Yeah.
I did not also see or hear current president, who was the number one opposition,
The then president or the current
the
president?
current president,
Okay.
who was the vice president by then, the number one opposition, followed by the leg of Cummings and the rest of the people, being called to the table to proffer their idea on national issue. I did not see that. I want to take you to the great United States of America. Donald Trump today cannot facing Joe Biden. In his mind, everything Joe Biden did, he trying to stretch them out bit by bit. He said those things were not right. And he trying to veto more in the executive order. So the conclusion I'm just trying to make is that the ruling government especially this one of Liberia, said the CDC agenda was not the best agenda for the Liberian people. They said that out most often. It resonated. They elected them.
Yeah.
Bringing back these same people, especially the head of the agenda who was executing that agenda, to asking for idea on national issue does not make sense to them, and they will not bring him on board. Even the CDC, if they take power today, will not bring. I'm saying they will not get relationship. They will not pay some courtesy. But on critical national issue, they will not bring whosoever former president or leader to the table to proffer their suggestion for them to lay. So the only way the opposition can proffer that suggestion, in many instances that opposition been doing, is through this press conference, through flexing political muscle, through protest action. If the government is being adamant, they can, assemble, petition, and if they push the government, not just protest, but coming down on some issue, like in the issue, on the issue of the whole speaker removal and other things, standing friend and say, this is our position, we maintain this. And when they reach to a point, sometimes they say, oh, you get nowhere to turn, then the government will do the right thing. And if the government have a listening ear and the opposition push them, they also do the right thing. But to say, you know what, the way the thing happening today, we want to bring 85 yellow machine in country. Say you former president, we are, what's your take? President, we are go to the table and say, gentlemen, the yellow machine, you want to bring the money plenty, you gotta cut it down. That political statement is, but then the mayor don't want nothing for us to do. When we bring the yellow machine here, you will not get a chance to come back to power. Critically Liberian men are left power. So we are in say when you go to the table, the people tell you say we want to bring 85 yellow machines.
So you will not do it.
Saying you are bad road medicine man. You will either set up that meeting time for that meeting, either fake signal with grabbing, or he say I'm traveling somewhere. When you go to the table, no money. You will not get the people and then whoever. Gentlemen,
no, for me. So
I'm just trying to balance it. They can't call him for that yellow machine. He said when they call him, he will not go to get it and then whoever. So at the end result, the only way you can profit idea is to be on the opposition stand through press conferences, taking political action and holding the government feet to the fire. And because you wait that for nothing.
And which of course, Sarah, I see. Yeah, they should play their role, right? They should play their role. It is their right, to play those roles. But I think to also help for the country to move forward. Man, Liberia is on a very slow pace when it comes to development in every sector, on a very slow pace. So, and I think one of the reasons is because when people win election, they take the opposition to be like enemy. How it is. We saw CDC in this place. When CDC won the election, one time the former president, we called the opposition, he said we're going to have dinner with them. So they would discuss about the issue in that particular bit. Yeah. In that particular meeting, I got the information that they told each political leader to speak for 5 minutes. What in America me? What can America prove for 5 minutes? Yeah. So the issue here is it is bad. In much as everyone is not doing it, but it is bad. I think if for instance this government can call Alexander Cummings. Alexander Cummings has his own knowledge. Listen, no one is saying you should just everything just go to the opposition. You can help or no, but there are some things hear from them as well. You forced to do it, but hear from them. Let them give their ideas. If they can do that, if they do not give the rightful idea to you, then you know that, oh yes, these people are not in the interest of the country. But there are some of those opposition leaders, they have good ideas. They want to contribute in as much as they are in opposition, but they want to contribute. They want for this country to move forward. I guess everyone wants this country to move forward. So if you reach out to them, for instance, reach out to Mr. Alexander Cummings, let him give his own idea. he's one of those persons who have been saying every day we should not do one thing over and over and expect different result. Go to him. If he will give you his little idea, he'll live with it as a government to use it or not. But my point here is if the citizen of the country will see, for instance, the ruling establishment, the president, maybe he's sitting with the opposition leader, maybe like George Weah, sitting with Elizabeth Cummings, sitting with Dr. Clarence Moniba, with all those opposition leaders, they are sitting on a table. My brother, send a signal out there in the public that, hey, these people we can be hurting our hair for. We do not need to hurt our hair for them because they are united. They love the country. So we ourselves, in as much I would disagree with one another, but we should not go a certain length. I guess that's one of the messages that will be sent out there. But if our leaders just continue, they just sit back at as if to say they are enemies to each other. That's the reason why sometimes the partisans, the Labyrinth, the supporter of those political leaders, they are if to say they are enemies to one another because they are not seeing their leader.
Many times you saw Donald Trump going to court.
Yeah, because according to them, he did the wrong thing, right?
At the end result, what happened? The impeachment process and thing that came against him. There were so many allegations. Today now, Donald Trump is in power. If you talk about Joe Biden here, almost everything a society where democracy works. If you mention the name Joe Biden before the current president of America, my brother, you're in trouble. Because you saw how he going after Joe Biden people. Even to the extent that the Biden was like leading with Ukraine in the Russia war. You saw how he there with Russia and Ukraine president. He blaming Joe Biden and other things of prolonging the Ukraine war between Russia and Ukraine. So opposition and ruling party that you know that I think that positive and positive can pull that negative and negative it get no connection.
For me, I agree
when you
with that
connect
side.
negative and negative, you can get current.
Listen, politically, right?
That's a
Politically,
political.
they can,
I was saying
they
they can pull politically.
but when it comes to leadership of the country, they should pull. When it comes to the interests
when you
of
talk
the
about
country,
quality and leadership, now what different? Because
No.
in the first place, if they name politically can see their name, but when it comes to leadership, to lead, the men supposed to invite all stakeholders to listen to their suggestion and other things. Who making their friend fun here now?
who making their friend fun?
Yeah.
Nobody making their friend fun. Nobody making their friend fun. In fact, everyone putting the country's interests. That is what they put. They are not making each other fun.
So what I've been
When
seeing,
Labrador developed, when Labrador developed, that from the president, the current president,
But-
that he won't benefit.
another alignment or opposition and government will develop Liberia. Government just need to do the right thing to develop Liberia. To develop Liberia, for example.
Yeah, but man, you Saros, in a more they need to do the right thing, but they don't have monopoly what ideas.
That's why they gotta get somebody to profile their own idea through different channel. Now on the same table with them. The different channel is they might condemn them for doing the wrong thing. They might make their recommendation through these instances you see in the opposition.
And we do it can really happen. It can really happen. When the people go protest, when they get to their petition, the government can consider it. They can just take it and go chuck in the trash can.
That's what we're saying. In a democracy where a democracy that works, the opposition channel their grievances through those means, and a listening government should listen to some of those things. But in most instances, as you said, they can trash them out. The same leadership you're talking about is that they now want the opposition or the ruling party for that day to carry the glory or something. For the opposition to claim that, what? The people could not afford to bring your rest. But because we protest and now while you see sufficient rest on the market, the price of rest have been reduced. So a rest is 3,500 or 20 USD. And then opposition get us and say, the rest price too high. We want you to bring it down. Brother, at that moment in time, even if the sitting government itself know that our price is high, they will not bring it down or they will not find means to bring it down at that moment. We saw one instance when President Weah came back from that hatred. When the rest shortage were here, the opposition were passing up and down. Oh, no rest in the place, no this and that. You can't get rest to eat. People were jumping over things for money. We could not answer rest. Rest were gold dots. People were buying rest multiple price. For example, 2 times what it was being sold at the time. When the president came, he said that thing, that politician that the shop more than making rest here plenty in Freeport in the warehouse. They know where they had in the rest. In fact, like what he said. You think President we didn't know that we had shortage of rest at the time? But the messagings the place were coming from, there were people that wanted to score point. And President we not wanted that point to go to them. Aside from Liberia, politics, the strong opposition against a ruling party to have a breathing space in most instances to come around the table with the government, they always put you distant. That's how democracy and politics works around the world. I have seen that.
Cyrus,
I have seen that.
It happens in other countries, right?
Yes.
But you don't deny the fact that other countries people don't collaborate. There are lots of instances.
What happened to your life?
Yeah, I'm active at home. Probably like the network. Yeah, that's the network. For instance, Cyrus, right? In South Africa, we saw the apartheid era. When they were leading the democratic transition, we saw them collaborating with the opposition. Even in Kenya, 2007. Even in Kenya,
when they were jailed, Nelson Mandela and them for 27 years. When students were being silent, you bring them about
look at
the opposition to the apartheid regime in South Africa.
Sarah, for instance, in Kenya, right, 2007, right, the presidential election, we saw the president Mwai Kibaki and opposition leader Raila Odinga. They enter into power sharing agreement. They enter into agreement for the nation's sake.
Oh boy. But Rufus,
right?
You're taking us
no.
You said during the election they enter into agreement, negotiation for power.
That's what I was telling you.
That's what they were negotiating.
That's what I'm telling you. That's it. That on the power, right? That on the power. But after the election, they work together. That's what I'm saying. Even in Zimbabwe, 2008.
So that they were collaborators, brother. Prior to the election, they already negotiated and say, my man, this is it. That work on this. One person took power. That person already supported the other person. So you know what?
I'm talking about
at least 10% of what you get.
No.
So what was the actual story? Let's get the actual story.
No.
Yes.
For instance, let me read this. Right? Let me read this. The 2008 crisis led to the global political agreement between Robert Mugabe government and the opposition leader like Morgan Travinan, resulting to a unity government. Okay, during a period of political tension after election, Liberian leaders have a time consulted opposition figures for national unity. Talks former President Eli Johnson said, "Okay, that this contact with George Weah."
Yeah, my man, we're going against with George Weah.
No, but what I'm trying to say here is, in other countries, when people win election, they call opposition. Even in South Africa. We have seen on many occasions where the opposition leader they come on the table, they discuss the country.
No, but that's
They
what I'm
discuss
saying.
the country.
And I'm talking about reconciliation. In the
I'm
first
saying
place.
Sarah.
I'm saying in the first place.
I'm not only focusing on. I'm talking about reconciliation, right? I'm talking about both reconciliation and to pour for ideas to move the country forward. That's my argument. That's my argument.
Okay.
So, but like in Liberia, mostly, especially in Africa and specifically in Liberia, we take opposition to be like the enemy thing. I want to get it at all costs. So I will, if it call for me to pray for a man to fail, for me to do everything undermine the government to fail, I will do it.
But
That's not national interest.
You listen to the bombing senator.
That's a national interest. Yes, that open the phone now.
So if you are just joining us, this is the Talking Point, and this is a Wednesday edition of the Talking Point on Blaze 90.7 FM. We are here this evening actually talking about the press release from the Executive Protection Service, EPS, and also doing some analysis around leadership here this evening. So the time is actually yours now. For those of you watching our live feed on Facebook, just do leave your comment and share the live feed as well. Those of you on YouTube, do the same. And those of you listening via radio, you can start placing your call to 077-907-907 Those are the numbers to call. I always the Lone Star phone now, yeah. Doing this. Okay. 077-907-907.
You think it's not enough phone as well?
I didn't think so.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Good evening. Good evening. Come again? There, yeah, you friends say.
Okay, yeah. Thanks so much for the topic discussion, man.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, the EPR boss, the way he spoke, that different real. That's why I passed leader. You know, the middle kind of remarks. You know what I'm saying?
We're listening to you. You are live. Go ahead.
Okay. So, when I manage, I will do that. But now, as you read this, the father is that you got it one baby, as you read this, when it comes to opposition and the ruling party. Opposition, the ruling party don't want what opposition may give. That is to recommend to them. When I recommendation with the bond, we got the father to fear the opposition so against them.
Okay.
Why they would be, yeah?
All right, thank you.
Okay, thanks so much.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Let me move away from your monitor. What is your name and where you calling from?
Thank you. My name is Luther Luminisaki Jing. I join for district most of the country.
Okay. There you go.
I know the statement of me by the EBA boss. No, this country, you cannot be a leader. You speak that way. So if you know you are a leader and you move for chaos to come in the country, then they should withdraw the EBS from you. So you can remain vulnerable when you call parent. So we all are given the should to go face it when the police come. You should deal with all.
So you support the statement being made by the EPF boss?
The statement are made by EBF boss to withdraw. Anyone who want to bring chaos, if you want to bring chaos, they should withdraw the EBS from you. But if you're not bringing chaos, the EBS will mind you. But how are you going to bring chaos in the country? Then over EBS will mind you. When power guy, then you run away, EBS will mind you. Then you without protest, then you're on the street. You think it made any sense?
Yeah, on your own. And you get under security too.
For what you were saying about president you call former president, look, level statement the former president made against Joseph Broga. How you feel Joseph Broga against Joseph Broga? When the go out there, now says they will get there. You put what the idea will get from there.
So me not get no idea.
Thank you. Let's take the next person.
People will get idea.
Good evening.
Yeah, Sarah and Paul, how you doing?
God morning, us here.
God morning, our chief.
Thank you. Yeah, so this is Pastor David. So firstly, it is by law that when you serve as a president or former vice president, it is your entitlement. Besides, all of us are entitled to our opinion. This is Pastor for the record. So, if Poland said, when the laws of the country is not obeyed, if we set a place for insurrection, if the government of the day feels that that statement is threatening, there's only one place to go, which is the court. So, what if Pascal doesn't have a security? I am not a VIP. And I said, Mr. Boga does not protect the Constitution. The country will become vulnerable. So where will you carry me now that I don't have EPS security that time? And I listened to somebody who said he's supposed to withdraw the security. But you forget to tell him or have him educated. It's not at the will of St. Gay. It's not at the will of Mr. Bracker, the president. It's what the law says. That's why many times I said to
So you
all
went,
of us,
Pascal, you were saying gay refusing and confusing us here. Saying gay in a release, he said the EPS is on a mandate to protect the president, the vice president, and their family and other senior government officials. He did not quote specific portion of the law that says that. You also come and telling us by law that the former president and or former officials supposed to get EPS protection. So can you also tell us the law so that we'll not be confused because the same game left it open?
So I will not be very honest, and if I just protest something, but in your own reasoning as a journalist, we have had 3 presidents now in the country. 2 of those presidents are former. So Madam Scully, as a former president, has understand security as a VIP. Yes. So George Weah, as a former president of the country, has a VIP. Yes. Then Mr. Bracker, the former vice president at the time, had a VIP while he was vice president or former vice president. Yes. So Joel Howard Taylor, the former vice president, have for EPS security. Yes, of course. So anybody who really have a reasonable mind, who is logical, even in their simple thinking, to understand is a law that when you leave that position as a vice president or as a president,
no,
why you say no now? How you say no?
You're going by reasoning, but a former leader having security come now, Pascal.
Yeah, I'm done.
But you having security does not mean you are entitled to the EPS. For example, the government of the day can decide to assign a police officer or an army officer, 1 or 2 with that VIP, without giving the EPS officer. It's another one. Like you and myself, private citizen, we can go to the Ministry of Justice, and when we know we need security, we can request the Ministry of Justice to give us security. Like
as
the
a private citizen?
Come again?
Did I hear you say as a private citizen?
Yes, as a citizen. If you know that you...
True.
What?
That is never true. That is never true. So, Cyrus and Kona, this platform has gained the admiration of all of us. So I want you to do all due diligence. I want you to do not just for me, for all of us. Like you said, the EPS director did not quote the article, and I'm also asking you, like I didn't do as well, because I'm not too sure of that, but I'm very sure that yes, there is a law that says when people step at that high level, they're supposed to be entitled to state security. That's what I'm saying. So it is based on that one. So please just do all due diligence to go deeper and find out whether it is by law that when people step at that level, they're supposed to be entitled to security. I just want you to do this.
Yes, we will do that, but I want you to get Senge's statement clear. He did not say you're supposed to get security. He's speaking as the head of the EPS, and he's quoting there's other established the EPS. So he's saying for the EPS.
Bona and Sarah, Senge met the EPS there. I just told you when Senge was not EPS director, the current president was former vice president. He has an assigned security, for example. He had EPS security assigned to him, for example. So it was not all of somebody just good thinking that would say, let's get Mr. Black. No, I'm just telling you.
So I think I will have to let you go, but saying it clearly said in the statement that the president can advise them.
So as I leave you, do you also agree with the statement that when you made statement that one thing as a statement of insurrection and you are assigned to a security officer, is supposed to be withdrawn from you? So what become of you who does not have a security officer assigned or who is not a VIP? If you said because Mr. Parker is not respecting the Constitution, like in the case of Joel, and you don't have a security, what do you think will happen to you in that case? It could give your answer that you could just provide for all of us.
No, so for me, and I in that capacity, it's not the thing about the country run on law. Those are in authority will decide what happened to you. I cannot.
No. You see, what Joel said. Hold on, Sarah. Joel said, if the laws of the country or the Constitution, that statement came after the Supreme Court ruling. So if you do not respect the laws of the country, it creates instability. Why you think brought the war in 1990?
Thank you, Pascal.
Why brought the war? It was because the laws were not respected. That's what I'm saying.
Good evening.
Good evening, Sarah.
Good evening
to Conan. This is the Oracle.
There you.
All right, so I think the release from the EPS was clear. So if anybody, so I think the condition is there. I want to bring chaos or pass official government. I want to bring chaos. So that there are two statements first from the former vice president. There's also another one I could say, since the government is calling for so and so, they will be able to give it to the government. So there are two releases that came from the former vice president, apart from the one you're playing. But another portion of everything we want to know.
You got that release?
Come again?
The one you made mention of. You have it?
I think I'm still checking my phone. I got my phone. I think I'm sending it on WhatsApp. So I'm still trying to get it on. Okay. But the issue of, I just want to bring something to Conan's death. When I think like rough day for the permanency of the United Nations, this government called the two former presidents that we got currently, because the other one is far away. You heard the guys on CBD say, former president, we are not partaking in that thing. So, like you were saying, Sarah, so let's say, yes, Sarah, sometimes they really part of want to work with the opposition. But the opposition feel that they give them really people their support, give them the idea, it will cause disturbance or hindrance for them to come into power. So that's why you see some of these things they would not want to bring it. Even former president, we have to call other people to work along. But if they want to give him all the ideas, he succeed, they want to be like they want to be like a hindrance, they will not come to power. So you don't find a ruling government and an opposition too much into business at all times. Is that possible at all times?
Hello? Yeah, so when the current government extended invitation to the former president to help. Hello, listen to me now. My brother, listen to me now. Yeah, I mean, then you want to interrupt me. So the question I want to ask you: do you think it was fair for the former president to reject it? It was okay. Hello.
I think we lost.
Okay, maybe we lost it.
777-907-907. 777-907-907 is the numbers to call. Call and actually make your contribution here on the talking point. Here, hold on, I think we lost you on the live feed. Check.
I'll be back.
Okay. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Oh, you call and you hold a call, my friend.
Good evening.
Okay, good evening.
Yes, good evening to the family.
Yeah, good evening. What is your name and where are you calling from?
Here, Momo calling from Bonafon.
There you hear you, Momo.
You know that the former president where we married, a peace ambassador. You know that the former president said with the current president, when your president are arresting him more than 4 or 5 times. You know that the former president, the current president, held a protest and more I didn't take part in that protest and nothing they did to the in this country. For me, I don't accuse protest, but one thing I accuse is the violence. If anybody want to protest, that's right. But we shouldn't be discussing the former president because he want to work with anybody because he proved to us that he work with my area peace ambassador. So he tried to work with Joe Baga. And the current president soon work with Jovia, American. The current president soon work with Jovia, American.
Maritan, which one of them?
I think the bigger one. I was
Joseph Walker Jr.
Joseph Walker Jr.
Yeah.
We are Maritan.
Right?
I know.
No, we are Regime.
The current president soon work with American.
Okay.
The current president soon work with American. So we are not someone that you don't want to work with anybody. We are becoming a president. You prove to President Walker, former president. You speak to him, you talk to him. It's bizarre that we have a living sign, we have no go there.
Okay, hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, probably why you saying we are willing to work with everyone. Then why when the government call him to help into negotiating for Liberia to win the seat on the United Nations Security Council, why he refused?
Because the current president officer tell the public that they don't need we are for it, they say the way.
You say what?
The who of his staff?
I think quarter for finance.
You think?
Anything about we are.
My man, in the first place, that thing did not even come from the president's office. It came directly from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Sarah Besco Yantri. She the one. Hey, calm down now. Wait. She the one wrote the former president asking him to help Liberia to make at least 1 or 2 minute video. Just sending a message to the world that Liberia is vying for the permanency at the United Nations Council to represent Africa there.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
And so my colleague was asking why he did not do that. Saying he wanted to work with, the ruling party or the government to help Liberia. Why he didn't do that for Liberia to get that international recognition. Hello?
Let me go. Let me say
good evening.
Mr. Kuyade, good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you. And let me say good evening to Conan Rivers. Okay. I call from the H6. My name is Lawson, Augustine Sagacious Wisdom. I want to, ask your panelists and then say your co-host, Conan Rivers. I think he did mention that the former president, Weah, when he took over, he called on all of the oppositions to have a dialogue, and he gave them each of them 5 minutes. So I just want him to be very specific. Those parties that he called and where that conference was held. When you're giving somebody information, you need to be very specific in giving information.
But are you disagreeing with my colleague that President Weah did not call the opposition committee for reconciliation and granted and then some time?
That's what I'm saying. You can't give him. According to him, there were 5 minutes that were given to him. Am I lying? He said 5 minutes.
So let's establish where you agree with him or you disagree with the time, or what really is your question?
I agree with the reconciliations, but then I disagree with the time frame when discussed about 5 minutes.
So what was the time? What was the time given to each of the opposition lawmakers and opposition?
Each person was given the 12 minutes. 12 minutes. As Hans Kumi spoke from the ANC, he spoke 12 minutes. Then why you say 5 minutes now? Yeah? Okay, let me talk about the current regime. They say that, President Walker didn't call for reconciliation. It is true. I'm not defaulting the fight. It is true. But then, what I want to say is that the past government did an error or make an error, and then the present government to make an error too as well. But then, I don't want to say, opposition from the past government. People were given 5 minutes. That's my concern.
Okay, your point is taken. Thank you. Good evening.
Yes,
Sarah, I mean, just provide the clarity. You,
My man, you
Pascal,
have almost
Pascal,
6
between the
minutes. We got to
team,
leave,
man.
please.
no,
You have 6
my man,
minutes. We can continue with you. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, my name is Dawuda M. Dawuda. I call from Lower Madidi County. In the first place, let me disagree with his last caller. When they called that meeting that day, DeLong was the first person that walked out of the meeting because they were giving 5 minutes to speak. So DeLong walked out of that meeting. Let him remember that. I don't like for people to give raw information. There's an international relationship you're talking on. You will not be giving you raw information.
Laverne politics is interesting. That's why we open the phone line for you. You talk your own, the next man talk your own.
Giving 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. DeLong was the man that walked out of that meeting because they were giving 5 minutes.
All right.
Thank you. The wrong thing to talk there. This is why I hate about the politics are in the country here.
Thank you. You make your point. No time.
You know what I'm saying?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Thank you very much. My name is DDS with DDS and I join you from my Commontown resident this week.
Yeah, my brother.
Yeah, thank you for the platform. One thing that I wanted to register is that his is unwilling to work with police. The first and foremost thing, when we are after the election, we are peacefully taken power over this country. The very first time we were arriving in the country, we saw the way the government treated him at the airport. The own VIP laws that he built.
Hello? Hello?
The government denied him of using the VIP.
Hello?
AFL there.
Hello?
To intimidate our community. You have seen you talk.
I want to ask you a question. You were talking, don't worry, I'll give you time to talk.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I heard you talking about he built his own VIP lodge. Was the VIP lodge built by former president we have their own money?
When I say as the government at the time, I'm saying as the government at the time.
So we expect you. So we expect you to say it was built by the government, not his initiative, the government initiative.
Chief, it was a real government.
So that's the government, that's not we are.
I'm saying because it was.
You still there?
I think we're losing him though.
Hello?
He gone.
Yeah, these are some of the problems I have with some of the supporters.
That allowed them to make their point. Good evening. Good evening.
Hello?
Good evening. Tell us where you're calling from.
My name is Paul S. Ball. I'm calling from PV.
Yeah, you got 1 minute, my brother. I hear you.
Yeah, those that are making a chaotic statement should be responsible for any chaos that will go on in Liberia because during their regime, no one among them is respect claim. They touch the sky, gap claim, they touch the sky. There was no demonstration, there was no protest. So those that be using chaotic statement, they should be responsible for that.
You said during that regime, what happened? There were no protests?
Yeah, there was no protest. There was no chaotic protest.
Okay. Good evening. Good evening. Tell us your name, where you calling from. Good evening.
Hello?
You are live. Tell us your name, where you calling from. You have to change your location. I don't want to cut you off.
Yeah, I'm not there now.
You're much better. I hear you.
What we're talking about chaos. This is not chaos. Where the rule of law is abused and for their rights, it doesn't look like when it becomes chaos. Oh, I heard somebody saying that the opposition, the sitting ruling government, will not like the opposition to come up with their idea in which the government may go to them. You know, when it comes to governance, Hello?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think we can take at least one or two more calls.
Yeah.
Pressing again time. Okay. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
What is the name and where you calling from?
Yeah, Rodriguez are on the line, slip off the line.
You got 15 seconds, please.
All right, Chief, it will be enough for me. Like I was saying, sometimes when words are spoken, it has spoken in context. Yeah, when I said, George, we are ERP Lord, I was speaking for the background. It was a George we are led government. It was a George we are led government. So it was an initiative of the George we are led government.
Thank you.
That was the context of my English.
Thank you
and
for
so
that
on the
clarity.
basis of the issue, yesterday Mo Ali said we are going to justices whom to throw petrol bombs. They were going to go at the election commission to throw petrol bombs. At no point in time they were even taken to prison compound here. Because someone talk about
Thank you, my dear brother. Your point is taken. Thank you. Good evening.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good evening, Ochi. In the evening.
Yeah, good evening, boss. For me, man, I keep calling for things every day. I think I want to say something about what I have about family and president. We are giving people. People in the country they said that we are not going to school, so for that reason, you don't know anything. And they are going to school, they all have argument, and then you give them family to speak about what they are doing or what they're doing. They're not able then. They want for the men for nothing. That's what I want me to understand.
Thank you. You make your point. Thank you. Okay, Kona, I think we got just 1 minute to go, and so.
Yeah, so
callers are still calling. But
yeah, we're out of time. Yeah, so it is good. It was good to be on the show. So, like what I was saying, I think
so.
Our
please
leaders,
let's move to the Facebook page and just do due diligence to our follow.
Okay, yeah. So we have Vanny P. Sherman, Menso Mendy, and there's other comment. No, yeah, now only 2% people comment here for now.
Yeah, so you just read the comment out.
Yeah, so Fanny P. Sherman is watching live. Menso Mendy is watching from Pinsville. And he said, yeah, thanks for the show, guys. Yeah, that's all for now.
Okay, yeah, so.
Never really gave hard time to this. So,
yes, man.
Yeah, never really gave hard time. But however, it was good to be on the show. Like what I said, I think our leaders, this is the time that they put their too much anxiety for power. Yeah, when the political time comes, you will contest. You have to disagree politically, but when it comes to the nation, I think at times you people have to collaborate. But that even seeing those two leaders or the opposition leaders with the ruling establishment, it will send a signal out there to our people that we need to be united, and it will be a good thing for the country. To the EPA boss, for me, I agree. Anyone that trying to cause chaos in this country, let it take the EPS from them. But we also want to know what constitutes chaos. We do not want a problem where there will be intimidation of political figure in the country. No, we do not want that. So thank you very much, Sarah. It was good to be here. Tomorrow we'll be here again.
Yes, indeed, it was good to be here. But before we go, let me just bring the information to the people of Nima County. You know, the by-election
just ended. Yeah.
And Samuel Coker emerged as a winner of the Nima County by-election. So the National Election Commission has, have a press conference, not press conference, but a press release just the evening.
Yeah.
And it set the date, May 2nd, Friday, to certificate the winner of the Nima by-election. That's Samuel Kongbe Coker. Samuel Kongbe Coker. So the senator-elect going to be certificated on Friday, May 2, 2025. So as a senator, the IRS resolution you're getting the horse there pull Samuel Coker out. No longer into that impasse and other things. Even though he was the chairman of the removal of Funati Kofa. I don't know whether he achieved that or not, but
No, I sure he succeeded.
Yeah, okay.
I sure.
He succeeded because he managed to pull the number that came up with a vote of no confidence.
Yeah, they went to RLG and all.
They enjoy themselves and other things. So now the men have been educated. Instead of being at the lower house, now the men going to the house of elder.
Yeah, they mean elder now.
So now they were talking about the sending or either concur or listen, agree with the Supreme Court ruling. Now the men who initiated the whole thing going as senator, whether he's going to influence that side to say, you know what, did I agree with my man? It's another aspect.
Or maybe the man will say that obey the court ruling. You don't know.
What? Okay. That's it. So the talking point will take a break to rejoin you tomorrow, same time, same station, for another brand new edition of the program. Until then, we been your presenter, Sarah Sources Quieted, and Ambassador Conan Ruver. Do have yourself a wonderful and a blessed evening here this evening.
Want us to feel stupid.